Hi everyone, welcome back to Falcon's House. Here I'm going to start talking about some of the settings that I'm using on my Epson 5040 UB. This is what I seem to enjoy the most. I have tried HarperVision, I've tried some of the other settings that are OLEDRT settings, and they all seem a little bit off to me, either like overly saturated or too much red in the faces, or some other thing. So what I want to do is, this video is just going to show what I use naturally, and which is natural setting, and then I'm going to go through and I'm going to configure in other videos. I will configure the other settings, then I'm going to use the same set of video clips and compare all of them, and then I'm going to try some other new ones, and then each one will be a video, and I'll probably do some games that have a hyper-realistic look like Fortnite, and then some games that are supposed to look more realistic like Red Dead Redemption 2, some 4K sources, some 1080p sources, some streaming sources, and kind of compare and see what everything should look like, what I think it should look like, and what the actual best settings are. So I don't really like changing between settings for when I watch something in 4K, when I watch something in 1080p. I just want to sit down, use it, and go. So, first of all, I have about 3,000 lamp hours on this, mostly in medium. At about 1,500 hours, I switched down to eco. And this is in the afternoon, so there's a little bit more ambient light than in like the middle of the night. And this camera doesn't quite pick up the color exactly accurate. It's still a little bit too bright. And I've tried to adjust the settings in the color to match it as best as I can, but it's still, the colors come off a little bit more passive than, and not as saturated when I actually am looking at it in real life. So some of these are not going to be exactly how it's going to look, but when you start comparing the same settings against each other, it should come out fine. So the first piece is I have color mode is set to natural, and brightness is at 50, and contrast is at 50, and color saturation is at 50, and tint is at 50. The sharpness settings, I have all the defaults at 5, 5, and 5. Color temperature is set at 6500K. I have changed the skin tone, I think, to 4. I think the default's 5 or 3. And I have done no customized settings here. Image enhancement is set to preset mode 2. Fine line adjustment and soft focus decel are set to 2. Detail enhancement is 18 and 20. No gamma changes, is just set to 0. And all of these are set to 50, and all the color settings. These are some of the longest things to change when I do some of these custom settings. It takes like 5 or 10 minutes just sliding sliders. Super wide is off, lens iris is set to 0. Power consumption is set to eco. Medium makes it brighter slightly, and high makes it a decent amount brighter, but I don't like the noise from the fan when I'm on high. I think medium is fine enough. Medium is good, eco is fine, especially in a dark room. If I'm watching at night, eco is just fine. Even with 3,000 hours where I've lost a lot of my bulb brightness at this point. My guess is right around 3,500 hours, I'm probably going to purchase my replacement bulb, but I'll probably wait until 4,000 to 4,500 to actually do the replacement. It depends on, obviously, if it blows, but also it depends on whether or not I think that I'm losing too much brightness or whatever else. It's a little bit of a pain. I'll show you the setup in a little bit here about how to actually access it. It's a little bit of work for me, right, with how everything's set up. Signal is normal. I don't think I have anything changed here. I am using expanded HDMI video range and color space of BT220, and it does change how it looks a little bit. It's a little bit less green. It actually, like, you can kind of tell in this video how the change actually looks pretty accurately. So I like expanded color range. I'm using auto bright setting, which really doesn't change that much. The HDR modes force a lot more. HDR is really dark. Some of these are too bright. So yeah, auto bright seems to be pretty accurate. And I'm using fine image processing. And I think that is all the settings that matter. I am using the 112 firmware. Okay, I think that is it for this video. I will have some more videos that compare the other settings and how they look. I just haven't quite figured out what settings that I'm going to use to actually compare. Like, I want some mix of sources, and I don't know which ones I'm going to choose yet and what will be best for comparison stuff. So, okay, one other thing I want to show you guys is how I have my thing set up and why changing the bulb is going to be a bit of a pain. And it is this. I have a cabinet underneath, really tall, I think it's 8 feet tall, that has all of my stuff. And so I have to unplug all those things, move it, then change the bulb, and then put it all back. So I'm delaying doing that as long as possible.